Hello everybody, Joe here with Garden of Bloom. I am in the Phoenix, Arizona area, growing zone 9B. In today's video, I want to show you guys my fig trees and talk a little bit about them here. So as you can see, I am growing all my figs in containers. The two in the middle here are in 15-gallon size. That is in a 7-gallon here. And then I have like a 30-gallon tub here for this one. So I have 4 different varieties. This is my Black Mission fig here. This is my Violet Day Bordeaux, Peter's Honey fig, and Conandria fig. And so I've been growing these all in containers for a couple reasons. One is just limited space. I am just tight on space now. Another reason is just that these are pretty aggressive growers and can get quite large, and the roots kind of spread out and things like that. So I wanted to contain these because of that. These are not trees that you really want to plant up against your house, up against walls, things like that. So you want a little bit of space if you're planting a fig tree, because they do have aggressive roots. And just to give you a little bit of tips for growing these in containers here in Arizona in the hot desert. So, as you can see, I have drip lines here for them. And if you want to check out how I set up my drip line system for my container trees, I'll link up above here so you can click on that to get more info on that. But in the summer months, I am running these drip lines on these trees daily for 45 minutes. And you can tell when the fig trees need water or haven't had enough water, because these leaves will just start drooping down. They dry up quickly if you don't give them enough water. They like a lot of water here. And one of the reasons for that, especially in containers, is that the roots fill up quickly in the pots down here. Since they are pretty aggressive growers, have a very fibrous root system, and they grow fast, and they fill up these containers really quickly with roots. So once they fill up the containers with roots, there isn't a whole lot of soil to absorb a lot of that water and moisture. So they need constant water in containers here. I put these white coverings on them just to keep the containers a little bit cooler. The black absorbs all that sun and heat. And so I said don't buy fig trees, and for the reason why I said that is all these fig trees I have here were grown from cuttings. The only tree that I actually bought was this Black Mission tree, and it was $2.50 as a little cutting. It had just a couple tiny leaves, maybe about 5 inches when I bought it. The rest of these I either traded for cuttings or they were given to me. So 4 fig trees total, I spent $2.50. And that's why I'm saying don't buy fig trees. You don't have to go buy a $50 fig tree at Home Depot or whatever. You can just ask somebody. A lot of people, especially in the Phoenix, Arizona area, are growing fig trees and are more than happy to give you a cutting or trade with you to get you going with a fig tree. And these root very easily from cutting. I did another video about how you can root fruit trees from cutting if you want to check that out. There are many different ways to root cuttings, but figs especially are just super easy to grow from cuttings. This Conandria fig here was started last year from cutting, and you can already see how big it's gotten. Look at all the figs on this. I mean, this thing is loaded with figs. I did these 2 years ago, and they're already in 15-gallon containers. I actually had to hack this Violet de Bordeaux back because I transplanted it in a clay pot that had been growing through the bottom of the pot into the ground, and it was really tough to get out once it did that. So I had to cut the root system in half and cut the tree back, and it's just completely filling back out now already. See figs there. So they grow extremely easy from cutting. You don't have to go out and buy a large tree and spend a ton of money on a fig tree. There are things you can order these cuttings online for really cheap if you want different varieties. They graft really easily if you only want one and want multiple figs on one tree. They fruit really quickly even from cutting. So you usually get fruit within a year, the next season, sometimes even that first year. My Black Mission, I had a few figs that first year from cutting. Even from starting from a 5-inch cutting, it probably grew 3 feet and produced 3 figs that first year. That isn't always the case. Most of these 3 figs here that I grew from cuttings, I got fruit the season after starting it from cutting. Like this one here, this is the first time it's fruited, and I started this last year. So you may think, oh, I'm gonna get a larger tree, pay the money so I can get figs right away. You don't need to do that. They'll fruit quickly from cuttings anyways. If you are growing them in pots, you do have to pull them out and cut the roots back at times and prune the tree back to keep them manageable in a container, because they do grow so quickly in the pots. Some varieties are a little bit slower growers and better suited for containers, like the Violet de Bordeaux. The Black Mission is a really large tree, so it is something that you need to prune a bit more to keep it manageable in a container. I have it, you can see how large it is here, bushing out. And I'll show you a branch. There's figs there. So you can see, I mean, you get quite a bit of figs in a container. I probably will get at least 150 figs off these 4 trees, and that's plenty for me and my family. I like figs, but they aren't something that I'm just gonna sit here and eat like 20 figs in a sitting. You know, I'm fine with having a couple figs and whatnot. So 150 or so is plenty for me and my family. I toss a little bit of fertilizer in here about once a month. They don't need a ton of special care or anything like that as far as feeding. Occasionally I'll do some fish emulsion. I throw my compost on top of the containers. So there you go. It is mid-May here, so starting to get pretty hot here in the desert, and they take sun really well. Don't need any protection in the winter. They do drop their leaves. Check me out at gardenofluma.com for more tips on gardening and growing fruit trees, especially in hot, dry climates. Thanks for watching.